What's going on, everybody? This is David here, back with a brand new video. And today I'm making a video regarding the 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And this was a class that I saw at least three first-year eligible ones becoming first ballot Hall of Famers, but two of the three at least made it. And the other, three modern finalists, I was pretty pleased with as well. Then we had a couple of senior finalists. One I was just scratching my head about. The other two were good, and the coaching finalist was one that, or contributor finalist was one that I just thought you could have put other coaches in. So let us take a look at this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame class. The first eligible one was Joe Thomas, who was offensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns from 2007 all the way to 2017, before he suffered the injury and decided to retire. He was the one I was just so glad to see him get in the Hall of Fame because he deserved it. He deserved it a lot better than half these other guys. And it was because of the fact that he was a 6-time first-team All-Pro. He was a 7-time Pro Bowl selection. He was a part of the 2010s All-Decade team. And then he recorded 10,363 consecutive career snaps. That's a record. And it's sad that he played for the Cleveland Browns, for bad Browns team, and his final year in 2017, he suffered the injury and didn't play the whole season to go 0-16, but you got to feel for Joe Thomas. He really deserved the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The next first-year eligible was Darrell Revis, who at his time was considered the best cornerback in the NFL from 2007 to 2017. In 2007 to 2012, he played for the New York Jets. He played with the Buccaneers in 2013, and then for 2014, he went to the Patriots where he won the Super Bowl, and he went back to the Jets in 2015 where he played the next 2 years before he played his final season with Kansas City. But you look at Darrell Revis' career, 49, Super Bowl 49 champion, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl selection, was a part of the 2010s All-Decade team, 497 career tackles, 29 career interceptions, and 139 career pass deflections. Darrell Revis is definitely one of the best corners to ever play the game, especially playing it at this time when the NFL strictly had to call pass interference and illegal contact more. He just really was one of the best was definitely, I think, the best corner of his generation, and definitely one of the best corners to ever play the game. And then he got the nickname Revis Island, which he then trademarked, but it's good to see Darrell Revis get in the Hall of Fame. Then the one guy I was so happy to see get in, which should have got in last year because he was the best first-year eligible guy last year, was DeMarcus Ware, Super Bowl 50 champion. He was a 4-time first-team All-Pro, a 9-time Pro Bowl selection. He was a part of the 2000s All-Decade team. He led the league in sacks twice in 2008 and in 2010. He recorded 654 career tackles, 138.5 career sacks, 35 forced fumbles, and he had 3 interceptions. And twice, I think DeMarcus Ware is also only one of 2 players to ever lead the league in sacks twice. And he also was, I think, the only player ever, pass rusher ever, to have at least 20 sacks in the season twice. He had 20 in 2008 when he led the league in sacks, and he had another 20 in 2010, but he was second in the league that year in 2011, but he was second in the league that year only to Jared Allen. But it's good to see DeMarcus Ware get in. I mean, He's the Cowboys' all-time leader in sacks with 117, so he definitely should be in. But you know what? I like him because he played for the Broncos. He played the 3 seasons and won those and won that Super Bowl, and I'm glad to see him get in. Then there's Ronde Barber, another guy who definitely deserved the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was a Super Bowl 37 champion when he helped the Buccaneers beat the Raiders. I mean, he helped send the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl when he had that 92-yard interception return for a touchdown in Philadelphia for the 2002 NFC Championship game. But he's also a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl selection. He was co-leader in 2001 for interceptions. He was a part of the 2000s All-Decade team. He recorded 1,251 career tackles, 28 career sacks, 197 pass deflections, 47 interceptions, 15 forced fumbles, and 14 touchdowns. His statistics alone make him a Hall of Famer. And getting all those awards like Pro Bowls, All Pros, and being a part of the 2000s All-Decade team just help out a lot, and winning the Super Bowl as well. So he was the last player from that Buccaneers defense, that great Buccaneers defense that should be in, because that Buccaneers defense now has 4. They have 4 Hall of Famers. Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and now Ronde Barber. I mean, you look at all the greatest defenses of all time. We all know the Steel Curtain throughout the 70s decade. They have Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Mel Blount, Donnie Shell. I mean, and then you look at, the 85 Bears. Only Mike Singletary, Dan Hampton, and Richard Dent are the only Hall of Famers from that 85 Bears defense. And then you look at the 2013 Seahawks. That's gonna have Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, and Earl Thomas when they become eligible. But to see Ronde Barber get in the Hall of Fame, being the 4th player of that Bucs defense to get in the Hall of Fame that won that Super Bowl, which is now the 20th anniversary, he deserves it. Then you got Zach Thomas, linebacker for the Dolphins from 96 to 2007. And then he spent his, last year with the Dallas Cowboys. He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl selection, a part of the 2000s All-Decade team. He recorded 1,720 tackles, 28 and a half career sacks, 17 interceptions, 17 forced fumbles, 8 fumble recoveries, and 4 touchdowns. Another guy who definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame and should have been in long ago. But, I think not winning a Super Bowl and being a part of some pretty... And then he played for the Dolphins during their dark ages. Definitely is what has hurt him from getting in all these years. Then you look at the senior class. You have Ken Riley from the Bengals. He was only a first-team All-Pro once, and I was kind of not too fond of it because he was only a first-team All-Pro once, never made a Pro Bowl, but he did have 65 career interceptions and 5 touchdowns. I'm like, did he really deserve the Hall of Fame? I just don't know. That's all I could say. Then you got Joe Klecko for the Jets, who's a guy I think deserves it. He was the 1981 Defensive Player of the Year, where he led the league in sacks. He was a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl selection, has 78 career sacks and 9 forced fumble recoveries. He was a part of the thing called the New York Sacks Exchange, and that had also Mark Gastineau, and even though Mark Gastineau was probably the best pass rusher, his cocky attitude is truly what I think has kept him out of the Hall of Fame because of his celebrating and dancing. Then we go to Chuck Howley, who was the Cowboys linebacker. He was a Super Bowl VI champion, Super Bowl V MVP, You're right, Super Bowl V MVP, and I'm going to get to that later. He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 25 career interceptions, 2 career touchdowns, 399 career interception return yards, and 18 fumble recoveries. And Chuck Howley was Super Bowl V MVP, and he is the first and only and will ever be the only player to ever win a Super Bowl MVP on the losing team, because Super Bowl V was so bad. It was known as the Blunder Bowl because there was it was a good game because of how competitive it was, but it was known for its blunders. It had like 14 turnovers, like 11 penalties, that even though the Colts did beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, the best player that day was Chuck Howley, and he still won MVP, which you'll never see that again though. But still, it was that just showed how mistake prone that Super Bowl was. And then our contributor was Don Coryell, and great coach I think he was. He really invented the vertical offensive game, and that's when the NFL was turning into a passing league, and it also helped because the NFL created the illegal contact penalty, and he did lead the Chargers to the AFC Championship twice. But what I don't like about it is there's other coaches I would have put in before, or contributors I would have put in before Don Coryell. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the Hall of Fame, but he's a great contributor. I just don't know if I would put him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame before Mike Shanahan or Robert Kraft or Tom Benson. You know what I mean. But the class of 2024 will be somewhat more competitive, and the other player, the first-year eligible player I thought could have easily made it to was Dwight Freeney. But he's got a good chance to do it next season. But because next year I see 2 first-year eligible guys making it, and those are Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers. So let me know in the comments section below. Do you agree with this class, or do you think others should have made it? This is David. I'm out. Peace.